Hi everyone. Tonight we travel back to a warm Tennessee day in 1964, where a young woman with big dreams and even bigger hair steps out of a laundromat, only to lock eyes with a man who has absolutely no idea she'll one day be a global icon. That's Dolly Parton, and the man, that's Carl Dean, a soft-spoken guy in clean coveralls who, spoiler alert, will become her husband, and yet remain one of the most private, unseen celebrity spouses in modern history. You're about to hear why. But first, a reality check. You probably won't survive this level of sweetness. We're talking handwritten letters, home-cooked meals, and a 58-year-long vow to avoid Hollywood like the flu. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. And if you're watching from a cozy little town like Sevierville or sipping tea in Sydney, drop your location and local time in the comments. I always love seeing where our sleepy little stories are drifting. Now, dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. You're there with Dolly, just 18, standing barefoot with a laundry basket, when a white Chevy pickup pulls up. Out hops Carl Dean, tall, tan, and so quietly sure of himself, it nearly startles you. He teases her about the soap suds on her dress. She laughs, probably harder than she should. And just like that, he offers to walk her home. Historians still argue whether true love at first sight exists, but Dolly's always said she knew Carl was the one before he even said his full name. The kicker: that man never saw her perform live, not once, and somehow, they both preferred it that way. Carl doesn't follow you into the spotlight. In fact, from the very start, he ducks behind it like it's a fire hazard. You marry Dolly 2 years later, in a secret ceremony so hush-hush, even her record label didn't know. A small church, a borrowed dress, and her mama snapping photos with a disposable Kodak. No press, no parade. Just two people exchanging vows in the quiet. Now, that's not the Hollywood fairy tale most expect, and maybe that's the point. Carl opens an asphalt paving business in Nashville, while Dolly begins her climb first on the Porter Wagoner show. Then with hits like Jolene, and I Will Always Love You. But Carl, he's busy measuring driveways, not chart rankings. Reporters never catch him at premieres. Red carpets, he wouldn't walk one even if you paid him in beef jerky and fishing rods. And honestly, you kind of love him for that. Here's the quirky part. Carl once claimed he only saw Dolly perform once, and that was by accident. He drove by the venue, saw her name on a marquee, and kept going. Historians still argue whether that's fact or tall tale, but it fits. He always said Dolly belonged to the world, but his Dolly belonged only to him. At home, it's garden tools and grilled cheese, not Grammys and sequins. He calls her mama, she calls him daddy. It's equal parts adorable and oddly unglamorous. You imagine them doing crosswords in pajamas, while the world plays her records at full blast. What they share isn't measured in Instagram likes or red carpet photos. It's measured in potato soup on cold nights and porch swings at sundown. And somehow, that feels like the realest love story of all. So, why does Carl Dean keep his distance? Not because he's shy. Not because he's uninterested, but because, as you quickly find out, he's stubborn in the most fascinating way. He believes fame isn't a shared wardrobe, it's Dolly's to wear, and his job is to make sure it never wears her down. While tabloids beg for a glimpse, Carl's perfectly content watering his azaleas. He avoids interviews like they carry the flu, and when asked, he usually says something along the lines of, "I married Dolly, not Dolly Parton." It's a sentence that sounds simple, but unpacks like an entire philosophy course. He refuses to be a prop in her story, and Dolly, bless her sparkly soul, never demands it. That quiet understanding, their private handshake, holds stronger than any glitzy photo op. You realize quickly, this isn't a man trying to hide. It's a man standing guard over something sacred. Here's a fringe tidbit for your sleepy brain. Carl once suggested Dolly open a wig museum. That's right, a whole building dedicated to her hairpieces, and she almost did it. Historians still argue whether this was a serious business pitch, or just Carl being Carl. Either way, it shows you the heartbeat of their bond, supportive, weird, and wrapped in laughter. And yet, while Dolly travels the world, Carl anchors the home. He's the still water beneath her storm, the garden she returns to, the man who doesn't care if she's winning Grammys or just burning cornbread. You start to understand, Carl Dean didn't avoid fame because he feared it. He avoided it because he valued something far rarer, a relationship unbothered by applause. You're sipping sweet tea now, mentally at least. As the story stretches into the 1980s and 90s, by then, Dolly's gone from Jolene, to movies, to Dollywood. Her name's everywhere but Carl. Still no red carpets. Still no interviews. Still no matching outfits. Just an old pickup truck, some elbow grease, and a deep love for not being bothered. The man's privacy is so legendary, conspiracy theorists started whispering. Some claimed he didn't even exist. Others swore he was a body double, or an actor on payroll. Dolly, amused and a little exasperated, once said, "He's real, and he's mine." Then she went on stage and stole hearts as usual. Meanwhile, Carl's back home washing his car. You realize then, this is love on a different frequency. Not grand gestures, but quiet constants. Not front row kisses, but handwritten notes slipped into a lunchbox. And isn't that sometimes the stronger glue? Mainstream history books won't tell you Carl once snuck into Dollywood wearing a fake beard, just to see what all the fuss was about. But Dolly tells it like it's her favorite bedtime story. And yes, apparently, he hated the roller coasters. Historians still argue whether Carl's lifestyle was a rejection of fame, or simply a man's stubborn refusal to change for anyone, even the world. Either way, his decision helped define Dolly's mythos, the sparkling queen with a solid, invisible king. Their marriage, it's not a show, it's not a brand. It's a closed-door ceremony happening quietly every day, tucked between humming appliances and back porch laughter. That kind of ordinary magic. You can't fake that. You don't perform that. You just live it. And now, with each passing year, Carl's absence somehow feels more powerful than any presence could be. You lean back just a little deeper now, like your spine finally caught its breath. It's 2003, and Carl Dean, still camera shy, still stubborn, still solid, is celebrating his 40th wedding anniversary with Dolly Parton. But no press, no party. He asks her for cornbread and a new tractor catalog. That's it. The man could have had champagne in Paris. He chose hush puppies in Brentwood. And Dolly, she gets it. Always has. She said it plain. If I had to be married to someone just like me, it wouldn't work. She knew from the first handshake that Carl's mystery wasn't aloofness. It was gravity. He anchored her in a life where sequins and silence could somehow coexist. As the years push past 50, the rhythm doesn't change. Carl never once walks a red carpet. He doesn't do talk shows. But every time Dolly sings about a heart that's true, you know who she's thinking of. Quirky tidbit for you. Dolly had a life-size cardboard cutout made of Carl so he could attend an award show in spirit. The man reportedly hated it. She laughed for a week. Historians still debate whether Karl Dean's retreat from public life protected Dolly's image or simply amplified it. Did he stay hidden so her light could shine brighter? Or was it his light, low-burning, stubborn, quietly fierce, that allowed her flame to last this long? Either way, here they are. Married since 1966, that's 58 years of whispered jokes, Sunday pancakes, and dodging paparazzi like it's an Olympic sport. They've become a blueprint for something most folks forget exists, a partnership that values privacy over popularity, devotion over display. And maybe that's the secret, right? Maybe love doesn't need a stage, just a kitchen, a porch, and someone who chooses you again every ordinary day. Now just rest here a while. Let your breath slow to the same steady pace as Karl's quiet loyalty. Picture those two, her in rhinestones, him in flannel, laughing about absolutely nothing as twilight rolls in. There's no spotlight here, just porch light. Just love, undramatic and unshaken, humming like a lullaby. If that's not hope, what is? Good night now. If you felt something in your heart tonight, please like the video and subscribe, only if it truly brings you peace. And leave a comment with your city and local time. I love seeing where our little family is tuning in from. If this story warmed your heart or reminded you of your own journey, we'd be honored if you gave it a like and subscribed to stay with us for more gentle tales made just for you. Take care of yourself, rest easy, and may tomorrow bring peace, warmth, and maybe even a good laugh. Good night, dear friends.